Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be talking with Commissioner Hagen about our partnerships with Grand Forks County. So maybe we could start, Commissioner Hagen, by just telling us, how you got involved in government.
Well, like I said, I've always been interested and involved in I wouldn't say politics, but just our community and things that are going on. I really saw some things that I'd like to change, and I can either complain and, talk about it and get frustrated, or I can do something about it. So I would say probably in 2016 is when I had the thoughts running around in my mind, well, what could I do? What could I bring to the table, and how would it look? But yeah, it wasn't until probably closer to 2020 when I had conversations with our awesome Andy Schneider, our sheriff, to look at going to the county commission. It just fit. So
I understand you have portfolios, so I'm kind of curious about yours.
My portfolio assignments are county highway, finance and tax, recorder's office, tax equalization, and veteran services.
I mean, those are important ones.
yes, I definitely have more conversations with Nick West, our engineer at the county highway. People want their roads paved. They want their roads plowed. We need to get to work, and that would be the most common one that I talk with.
And how about the goals and objectives? I'm curious, as you kind of reflect on your first year or two here in office, what you've been most proud of and maybe what's still keeping you up at night.
So the thing that I would be most proud of is when I came in is I really wanted to support the employees. Before I was elected, I had conversations with quite a few staff people that do work at the county and previously worked at the county, and just morale and the overall feeling of the workers at the county level. They just wanted a boost. They didn't feel like they were being heard, and that's the thing that I wanted to connect with. And getting the employees a raise this year. Everybody's hurting right now. It's, buy food and groceries and gas and things like that. But you need to take care of people. You need to help the people that are there every day to make sure the county is running efficiently. And I think most people that, heard that we had done that were supportive and happy. So that would be my most proud moment. The one thing that keeps me up at night still is the childcare piece. That was the one thing that I was really excited to get going on. But one thing learning about government is that things don't always move quickly. So that's one thing that I definitely want to continue to keep my eyes out for.
And as you know, we work really closely with the county on crime victim witness and domestic violence intervention programs in particular. You've been in some of my conversations about state funding, and I'm just curious what your perspectives are now as a commissioner, how important state funding is to ending interpersonal violence.
Yeah, I think state funding is really important. The dollars that we see here in Grand Forks are flowing out into our community, and that pays huge dividends. The people that need them, for example, most victims are women. That can go back to now they're paying for an increased healthcare costs, or they're more of a burden on our medical community because they need to be treated more often. We need to meet people where they're at and grow and support them. And if they don't have the tools and the resources and the funding that they need, it's really hard to do that, especially in our smaller rural communities. They might not have as many opportunities for fundraising or raising taxes to have programs like that. So that's why I think it's really important for the state to be a partner for, like I said, not only Grand Forks but our smaller rural communities as well.
Absolutely. I know we're really focused on rural outreach as well at CVIC, and it's been interesting with the legislature. We've been very fortunate, of course, with almost all of our folks here locally have just been tremendous. But it'll be interesting going into next session, just sort of educating a few more folks just about the severity of interpersonal violence and how big of a problem it is for North Dakota.
And it flows out everywhere. Like I have the example of the medical system, but it also flows out into our education system and our schools. The children that are being affected, they're going to school and having problems too, and so that takes more teacher availability to focus on the students that need the help. So maybe they're not giving the attention maybe to some other kids that need help with reading or learning math problem or what have you. So it really trickles down into all of the facets of our community.
So you see, your work through several lenses: a mother, a partner, a business leader, a volunteer. Where do you think our community would be without some of the partnerships like we have with CVIC and the county?
That's a big question. Yeah, as a mother, number one, I think of all the kids out there that need that support and that love from what the CVIC and the county offers. Whether it's someone at school talking to a CVIC advocate that they might think that there's some violence going on at home, or some things that they need to talk to with the parents. There's a lot of kids, their parents might not be doing well, they lost their job, or they're depressed and they're dealing with their own generational trauma. So if you have a place like the CVIC that can step in and help break that cycle, it's huge. I saw it in my own family. Once you find an advocate or someone that you can help talk to, I wish I had a CVIC when I was younger. What would my life look like if I had a CVIC that could have linked arms with me and helped with all the above. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think the generational trauma, if someone were to ask me, that is what probably keeps me up at night. In our work, we see a lot of signs and symptoms of what happens when there isn't a supportive parent in the picture. And so I think continuing to work with our school system, our rural partners, to see how we can reach these kids at a young age is really, to me, where we can really start to shift the paradigm.
Yeah. The education piece that the CVIC offers too, for people who might not know what that looks like. They might not know what trauma looks like in a child, and it might come out as bad behavior or missing school, or they're just not maybe learning as easily as other students just because they have all that stress and that anxiety that they bring with them to school. That's another big piece that I think the CVIC does a really good job, helping people see what it looks like so they can raise their hand and say, hey, I think, so-and-so might need some help.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, I so appreciate everything you're doing behind the scenes to help CVIC and our clients out, and certainly be tapping into you again for legislative session. But I appreciate you stopping in, taking time today between 4 boys and running a county to check in with us. Appreciate it a lot.
Thank you for having me.